I am here in a space where Hildegard spent a lot of time. Not suspected, not, different versions, but this is where she came when she first moved to the Disibodenberg as a young woman. So this space here is the church, and then this space behind me, you can see those boundary stones. This is where she actually spent her time. Now, there are some different versions of whether or not she was cloistered here, so actually kind of like built in and trapped into the church, or if she just spent a lot of time here, received communion here, and then had maybe some huts back there where her and her kinswoman lived. It was her and two other women, Jutta and another woman, maybe named Jutta as well. But being here, I sense her, but I also sense the complication. I can put places on pedestals, places that are sacred, and almost immediately I was struck by the complications this place held, the tension that was here. She literally was confined to a small space. Even if she had a little space out back, it was still a small space. She didn't have a lot of control over her life. What's interesting is this place is so green and verdant, and yet we learned yesterday on our tour that the trees weren't here. They were all torn down for the sake of progress, for the sake of building a little empire. And so this is where she existed. And her and Jutta stood out. And so people would seek them out for their wisdom. And I'd asked a question of the tour guide. I said, was anyone coming here to seek out any of the wisdom of the monks? He goes, not that we've heard of. And so I'm struck by this, the place of these brilliant women that's so known that people are coming from far away to visit them. And yet they had no power or control, and were confined to the smallest of spaces. Just around the corner from here is the abbot's palace, which was built a little later, but it's this huge, massive palace where the abbot got to live. And even when Hildegard and Jutta moved to a slightly larger space, it was still really small. And so I feel that tension as I'm here. And I'm also struck by how tension, conflict can be a sort of furnace. Not that we want the furnace, but what the furnace produces in us can be astounding. But it's not the neat, tidy story that I always want. Especially when I come to a place like this, but I have to contend with all that, so I'm sitting with that. But I'm also sitting with, and I don't know if this will come through, yeah, it kind of is. I just kept looking up and seeing the leaves, but the sun shining through, and then I could see the shadow of other leaves above. You can kind of see that now. And something of that shadow just makes me think of Hildegard, still feel her shadow, her echo here. And all the complication and all the tension. So, thoughts, views from this Disibodenberg. Glad to have some extra time here. It's a special place. Bye. Veriditas.